is Transformers96 here with the review. This time we have from the Marvel Legends X-Men Wave Wolverine figure. So yeah, this is one of the rare figures of the Wave, which upon this release I did not anticipate that. I thought that Wolverine would probably be one of the peg roamers, because he's a character that we've had many versions of. We haven't had them in a while, I will say that. However, he is one of those main characters that we have a bunch of versions of. However, Hasbro treated us to a new sculpt, and I think that really enticed people to pick this one up first. Overall packaging is quite nice. Do like the yellow color scheme of it. Nice side art. Get a nice picture of him on the back as well as the rest of the assortment. Going over the actual figure, so yeah, like I said, this is a new sculpt. I don't think that there is anything that's reused, I mean, maybe, no, because I was going to say maybe even just the hands, but the hands are definitely not because they have the claw-like areas sculpted, obviously. So this, I believe, is just 100% new sculpt, which is awesome. It is a very small sculpt, and, that is pretty fitting for the character. However, it's so small that it looks a bit strange. I have to say, like, when I put him on my shelf with all my Marvel Legends, he's obviously dead center, or up front, right before I get to my Marvel Universe, the 3D Orange figures, and he looks like he's in a different scale than the Marvel Legends and the Marvel Universe, because he's kind of in between the two. Obviously, Wolverine is a very short character in the comics, however, he's very short in this figure. I like the fact that he's short, but he's so short that he almost looks like he doesn't fit with the rest of them. Maybe that's just me, though. I've always considered him shorter, but not quite this short. However, I'll talk more about that when I actually compare him to some other figures. Talking about the actual sculpt here, though, I do like the sculpt. I think the head looks quite nice. You've got some black and yellow paint up against each other, so that is a recipe for disaster. However, here looks like it's painted pretty solidly. I mean, it's a bit wavy over here, but it's very light, and you really can't tell, which is not bad. You have some silver eyes, which look good. Love the sculpting around the eyes. Looks like there's a lot of muscles there, and he's got an angrier look, and he's kind of got a very stoic face, nothing too crazy. I would have really liked for him to come with this face with like the cigar, and then like have another like really just kind of raging face. That would have been pretty awesome. However, two heads, it's a little more than Hasbro usually does. So I don't expect it, but it would have been really cool. I have to say, it would have elevated the figure. The body sculpt is quite nice. It's pretty, although it's small, it is rather bulky, and you do have some good muscle texture in there. Legs are quite good. Love the boots, the way that they flare up, just like on his helmet or on his mask. Really like that. I love the contrast there with the boots and the mask. It looks very cool. I definitely like it a lot. And then the arms are pretty standard. So overall, sculpt is quite nice. I really do like it. Going over articulation, he's got a ball hinge head, which can look up quite far, can look down very far. He has butterfly joints. Love these, It's always such a treat when a figure comes with them, and usually there's not too many. The Spider-Man figures sometimes, and like Electro, he came with them. That was very cool, but it was a repaint of Spider-Man. So it is nice to get a new sculpt that's not primarily used for Spider-Man that has these, very cool. So the butterfly joint looks really great. You can go in and go very far out because he has the butterfly joints, and his butterfly joints move extremely far, which is awesome. Love those. Made this figure so much more fun just because of that joint. Ball hinge shoulders with the bicep swivel, double hinge elbows, hinge swivel wrist. You've got an ab crunch, which can go down quite far, and it can go back pretty far as well. Ball jointed hips, which are pretty nice, I must say. With the swivel at the hips. You have double hinge knees, swivel at the boot. However, it doesn't swivel completely. Well, yeah, you can force it to swivel all the way. Never mind, I was going to say that it got stopped, but it really doesn't. Like when you start to go, it starts to get stopped here, but you can actually get it all around. And then an ankle pivot with a hinge. So overall, articulation is quite standard for Marvel Legends, except you have that kind of unique butterfly joint, which is just awesome. So I really do love that. If I haven't mentioned that already, but I think I have. So yeah, he obviously comes with an extra set of hands with his classic claws. Really do like that. The claws are obviously 100% necessary, but the other hands aren't 100% necessary. So I am happy that we do get the interchangeable hands to have him without his claws extended. I do like that a lot. The claws are really nice. They're a little not pointed to the same angle. I've seen a review where it said that the claws were removable. I can't seem to remove them. I don't know if mine's are just kind of like stuck, or I don't know what it is, but mine don't seem to remove. You can kind of like bend them, but they do kind of just go back into place. Although I've seen that if you bend it far enough, they do tend to stay a little bit like there, you know, it might kind of stay out a bit more like this. So I'm not quite sure if these are just kind of pegged in, or how they're attached, but they're attached in a very unique way, which allows a little bit of manipulation with them, but it's very much on their terms, basically. It's really hard to get them to go perfectly where you want. So, you know, sometimes they're not lined up perfectly. So the claws are very close together on this side, and on this side they're more spread out. I kind of like the spread out look better. I think that just looks more fierce, and I do like that a lot. So I would like this other side to kind of work like that too. But overall, the claws do look really nice if you get them in some good positioning. They just look fantastic. The hands do fall out a bit easier than you'd expect from Marvel Legends. Obviously, most Marvel Legends hands are removable, you know, even if you don't get an extra set of hands. Usually they're just on there in a peg, and they don't fall out. This one is on there in a peg, of course, but it does seem to fall out. I don't know if they made it looser so that, you know, changing out the hands would be easier, although they really didn't need to, because just any Marvel Legends hand can be removed very easily. So overall, these do tend to pop out when you're posing them, which is kind of annoying. Maybe that's just my copy. However, it does seem to be on both sides, so I don't think it's just my copy. But yeah, overall this is an excellent figure. Let's get some height in there. Yeah, I want to talk about that height. So let's compare them. Alright. I have all the X-Men figures around me right now, so let me just pick some. You get Jean there, the Phoenix. Sorry, I've been messing with all these, so they're in poses, so I've kind of got to get them out of poses. Rogue. And how about Deadpool? Deadpool sounds good. Alright, so there you go. Here he is with Phoenix, Rogue, and Deadpool. As you can see, he is very short. Even with women figures that tend to be shorter, he's still a lot shorter than them. I think that looks alright, but he's just very short. Maybe it's because on my shelf I have him next to Scarlet Witch, and because she has heels on, she's quite tall. So maybe that's just what makes him look even shorter, because actually just looking at it here, it doesn't look that bad. So I'm not quite sure. It might just be which figures you have him with, but sometimes he does look very short, but like this doesn't look terrible. This looks like a pretty decent scale. So I think that it is accurate to the comics, like very accurate. However, you obviously do get a little bit less plastic because he is shorter. However, the sculpt itself is just so good that I really do have to applaud them. I will say that there is a bit of yellow specks in some of the brown areas on the costume, particularly over here and a little bit at the neck down there, so that you might want to just look through these if you can. Obviously this is one of the rarest of the wave, so I doubt you'll be able to, but if you can, give the paintwork a check there. But overall, really fun figure. Love that butterfly joint, nice interchangeable hands, and just overall a good costume and a good sculpt to complement that costume. So there you go, that's my video review of the Marvel Legends X-Men series Wolverine figure. Thanks so much for watching, let me know what you guys think of the figure.